Welcome back to Veteran Claims Ambush. This is number 25. As promised, today we are going to be talking about something you have not seen before. You have to know what this looks like when you are filing a claim. Last time, in 24, I showed you how VBA can abuse a questionnaire. In other words, when they set up a false CNP examination to suit their purpose. So we're at 25. This is what a medical opinion looks like. A medical opinion. This is a VA form. So when your CNP, Claims and Pension Medical Examination, takes place, the V, Victor Bravo Alpha, VBA, and everybody knows this in the system, all the way up through the courts. VBA will send out a questionnaire that they feel like sending. It may not be for what you have got. They won't tell you what they're going to send. The examiner won't show you in the room. Go back to 24. This is vital, important stuff. So this is what the medical opinion looks like. This is not just the questionnaire. This is in addition to. This one happened to be for TDIU, which means you're totally disabled for a temporary time, maybe. Okay, this is what it looks like. See this? Right away, the physician is limited. Okay, what we have here is for the claim compensation condition of chronic inflammation, nerve damage, eosinophilic esophagitis. Oh, really? So it's limited to that, huh? At this time, these were already service-connected disabilities. They were rated at 0. The question was about an increase in the rating. So these are already service-connected disabilities. Even the secretary said so. For the established compensation condition of, see what they wrote here? Gastroesophageal reflux disease, heartburn, X-ray demonstration with Barrett's esophagus. You see anything missing? Erosive esophagitis, a medical condition, pretty severe. I've gone over this in 24. Is this in conjunction with a C&P examination request? Yes. How was the examination completed? In-person examination. No one looked down my throat. Acceptable clinical evidence. Not checked. Not checked. Evidence review not requested. No, no records were reviewed. Okay. So you see what this is. Right away, there is a restriction. This is the restriction. This is the restriction. Oh, the veteran has calcified lungs, serious arthritis in the knees, all service-connected. You following along here? Okay, so they leave things out. Now, we're going to move through some of these pages, okay? And I'm going to take them one at a time and get here. So let's go back, and we saw page 1. Let's go back to page 2. Take a look at page 2. You've seen this before. What the physician examiner has is what the VA sent. First, in terms of what is this exam restricted to, that's lesson 24. Now it's what is your opinion restricted to. All he knows or she knows as an examiner is what the VA sends. A pre-existing injury or disease will be considered to have been aggravated by military service, where there is an increase in disability during such service, unless there is, well, no. Any increase in severity? Well, why is this here? Who is this talking to? I will tell you what this is about. This is preparation for litigation. They are padding this form. They are padding this form for litigation. Short break. I'm back. So let's take a look here. Indicate type of exam for which opinion has been requested. Here it goes. This is the limitation. Esophagus and peripheral nerve. Esophagus, peripheral nerve. There was no claim for peripheral nerves. They set this up. Esophagus is already rated at 60%. Type of exam for which opinion has been requested. Nobody looked down my throat at the C and P. Medical opinion for direct service connection. Well, we know that at this time, this was already service-connected, and this was already service-connected. So nothing is checked. Medical opinion for secondary service connection. But they're already service-connected. And the GERD, really erosive esophagitis, is already rated at 60%. Oops, here we are again. Let's go to page 3. Medical opinion for aggravation of a condition that existed prior to service? Not even relevant. Medical opinion for aggravation of a non-service-connected condition by a service-connected condition? It's not even relevant. But look at all these questions. Why are they sending this? Oh, we're back here again. Let's go to page 4. Because here, the physician examining is going to be opining. Remember, they asked for an opinion. So here, the physician will be opining. Let's take a break. Okay, I'm back. Is there a need for the veteran to follow up with his or her primary care provider regarding any life-threatening findings in this examination? No. Here we go. Please comment on the separate condition of chronic inflammation, nerve damage, and, should be plural, eosinophilic esophagitis as a result of gastroesophageal reflux disease. Well, the answer is no objective evidence found related to a diagnosis of eosinophilic esophagitis. No diagnosis of erosive esophagitis, eosinophilic esophagitis established. No objective evidence. Oh, did you look down my throat? No. Well, how does one look down the throat? An EGD, camera down throat, special appliance, special conditions, experts. I've gone over this before. So that wasn't done. Please provide your medical rationale. The records did not indicate a diagnosis of eosinophilic esophagitis. No neuro workup found in records. I've gone over that. Why would you go to neurology when it's obvious what's happening from the esophagus? No objective evidence of peripheral neuropathy. There was no claim for it. Thus, diagnosis is not warranted. No definitive diagnosis of chronic inflammation, nerve damage established because you looked at the wrong nerve. No claim for peripheral nerve damage. Lesson 24 goes over the setup, why VBA did that. They deliberately sought the wrong exam. Why would they do that? So they could set this up. You see? This is how it works. So this is already a service-connected condition rated at 0. This is all about the rating at 0, or should it be higher? This was a false exam. No claim was ever made for peripheral nerve damage. Do you see this? No definitive diagnosis. Nobody looked down my throat at any C and P. But I showed you, and watch how this works. I showed you in 24 how there was a reference to pain and sensitivity in the chest. Now watch what's going to happen. This is very important. Please state the symptoms and severity of chronic inflammation, nerve damage as a result of gastroesophageal reflux disease. He says NA. Why would you say NA? I'm sitting in the room with this examiner, explaining the location of pain, explaining erosive esophagitis, and that word doesn't appear here because he has been limited by VBA to what the examiner is supposed to do. Please provide your medical rationale for this. NA. Okay, we're going to talk about this. So I'm back from a short break. Let's talk for a little bit. Now we're past all this. This is the setup, and it is acknowledged by the examiner, who knows that this is not about peripheral nerve damage, because in the room I have told him this is not about peripheral nerve damage, but this is the form that is sent, and the examiner's company will not be paid unless this form, as it is sent, is filled out. What does the examiner do? 5. Consideration should be given to obtaining a medical opinion of the veteran's ability to function in a work environment as a result of his service-connected disabilities and the medications he takes to treat his symptoms. Specifically, any opinion should address his ability to drive and operate machinery, to concentrate, to maintain a consistent work pace, and to consistently attend work on a daily basis. Where did this come from? I will tell you, word for word. It came from the BVA decision, that forced VBA on a remand to figure out what the percentage rating was for service-connected inflammation, nerve damage, and eosinophilic esophagitis. This is word for word from a BVA remand to Victor Bravo Alpha. Word for word. They didn't just make this up. This may not appear on any form you see where that's done to you. This comes right out of BVA text in my decision. What does he say? First of all, as a result of his service-connected disabilities, plural, and the medications he takes to treat, specifically, any opinion should address... Okay, so now VBA sends this because they're stuck. Here's the examiner, who knows that there is no peripheral nerve injury. Veteran can get burning in the chest that would impact concentration and productivity when doing sedentary work. How does he know that? How does the examiner know that? Because I'm sitting there talking to the examiner. And because there is no question about the GERD, G-E-R-D, the erosive esophagitis. You don't see that erosive esophagitis, my throat coming apart from acid. But this is accurate, isn't it? He, the veteran, would also have to take breaks when doing any physical activity, such as, so this is not limited, such as lifting, if the symptoms would occur, breaks until symptoms improve. Symptoms would impact ability to operate machinery and being able to maintain a consistent work pace, here it comes, and attend to work on a daily basis, since they impact concentration and would have to take breaks as needed. So you see what the examiner is doing. These are already service-connected disabilities, but the form is restricting the examiner, who only on the basis of GERD, doesn't even mention the escalation to erosive esophagitis, only on the basis of GERD. No mention of calcified lungs, no mention of severe arthritis, nothing like that. What did he just say? In response to the question from the Board of Veterans' Appeals decision, said, can't work on a daily basis, has to take breaks even from sedentary work, etc., etc. That's not all. Please comment on the effect of the veteran's service-connected and/or claimed disabilities on his or her ability to function in an occupational environment and describe any identified functional limitations. So let's move this down. Let's concentrate on this. Please refrain from opining if the veteran is unemployable or employable. Instead, focus and reflect on the functional impairments and how these impairments impact occupational and employment activities. Please take into consideration all forms of work, including sedentary work. Oops, you already did. You know VBA hates this. Time for a break. Okay, I'm back. I want to concentrate on just this. I've gone through the prior part on the page. Let's just concentrate on this. We read this. Related to complete gastroesophageal reflux disease manifested by postprandial heartburn and X-ray demonstration of regurgitation, hiatal hernia with Barrett's esophagus and reported symptoms, so the examiner knows erosive esophagitis, because I'm sitting in a room and I tell him that. Symptoms related to eosinophilic esophagitis, separate. Veteran can get burning in the chest that would impact concentration and productivity when doing sedentary work. Uh-oh. He would also have to take breaks when doing any physical activity, such as, so it's not limited, lifting, if the symptoms would occur until symptoms improve. Then the physician signs off. Okay, and you are back in the ambush. The physician did exactly what he was restricted in doing. Physician did not do anything wrong. He was told, limit your examination. He did. He was told there are only two things to be considered. That's all he considered. He was not told, did not have even the opinion from the BVA decision. The BVA decision talked all about my knees. VBA left that out. Why are the knees important? Because they are arthritic by X-ray demonstration. What is the danger of that? Because I have a tendency to fall because of the arthritis. What's so bad about that? I'm over 70 years old when I fall. It's very different than when somebody is 20 years old and they fall. So it doesn't appear on there, does it, the knees? And yet, it was in the BVA decision. So who left it out? Who left out calcified lungs? Victor Bravo Alpha. Why would they do that? Well, you may say, anecdotally, meaning just my example, they despise me. They do. Because when I see their fraud, I talk about it. But it's not about me. This is a playbook. A playbook has certain things they reach into and can pull out on a moment's notice. If you're watching a football game, there's a huddle by the offense. They choose a plan. They come up to scrimmage. The quarterback looks at the defense and says to himself, something has changed. And that quarterback calls a different play at the line. Okay? What VBA was trying to do was torpedo this exam. It didn't work. Why didn't it work? Probably, I can't read the mind of the examiner. On GERD alone, they didn't even tell him about the other disabilities. On GERD alone, look what he did. VBA left out a lot from the court order, the BVA's order. No, I don't think BVA is a court, but I want to make you understand this principle. BVA left things out deliberately. They left out, these are service-connected conditions. They left out they're rated at 0. This is only about the rating. When you leave things out and you are asking for opinions, you are lying to seek this opinion. He got them anyway. Only on GERD. Look what he said. He would also have to take breaks when doing any physical activity. Sedentary work. Symptoms would impact ability to operate machinery and being able to maintain a consistent work pace and attend to work on a daily basis. It's absolutely right. So what did VBA do when they got their butt kicked? What did VBA do when they were in a position of loss? Well, look at this. This is about FOIA. This is how difficult it is to get materials from VA. Just to give you an example, this is the one for letters and so forth. Oh, we can't find out who sent you letters. This is a very narrow request under federal statute. Okay? 5 U.S. Code 552, etc. I want the names of the people who wrote me certain letters, and I asked for it way back in 2022, and then somebody makes believe they got it in 2023. And they can't figure it out. Remember this? This is why VBA acts the way they do. It's not just doing it to me. That was a playbook exercise. 24 explained a questionnaire for an examination based on a false examination. No peripheral nerve damage claim, peripheral nerve damage examination only. Look at this. I told you to look this up. This is why they do it. I showed you how they do it. Let's take a look at something here. Every time you go to the VBA with a claim, you have to reinvent the wheel. Time for a break. You have to reinvent the wheel. Here's what that means. VBA has a history, data, etc., of every conceivable claim you could imagine. They have it at their fingertips. This does not mean they have every possible medical condition under their specific knowledge. It means they can look it up from their own stuff. They can see every single claim that was ever filed for GERD, G-E-R-D, for eosinophilic esophagitis. Oh, so what do they do with all this data? There are thousands of claims that have been filed. I can say that for arthritis in the knees, calcified lungs. Thousands. They can look them up. You can't see. They can look them up. They can see every medical supplement by way of physician opinions, x-rays, MRIs, every one of them. What did I show you in prior lessons? VBA is not interested in you as a veteran at all. What they're interested in is their bonus. Quantity, not quality. Not my words. That was the Inspector General. Nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And everybody in the system knows it, from VBA to BVA to the CAVC. Congress knows it. I showed you congressional testimony from 2014. So you have to reinvent the wheel by providing your case with medical justification. But even if you do that, if they want to play with you, they can. So you file the claim. They already know what all the medical data is for whatever the disease or injury is. You file the claim, and you have to provide your data because they will not supplement with what they already know. They will not supplement with what they already know. You file a claim. It goes to the BVA. They remand it. It goes back to the BVA. It gets remanded again and again and again. Nobody cares. I told you that Board of Veteran Appeals cannot enforce its own orders to VBA. That should shock you. That should shock you. VBA, knowing that, routinely abuses BVA. Routinely abuses BVA. Now, I showed you how VBA put language into these pages I showed you today from my BVA judgment, because they were ordered to do so. But they left out stuff. And they created a phony exam. You could say, they're just doing that to me because they hate me. Okay. That would be wrong. They're doing that to the BVA too. They're telling BVA, you can decide whatever you want, and we can disregard it. And we can kick your decision around any way we want. What? Here's the point. It's not about you or me as individuals. Individuals don't count at the VA, trust me, when it comes to claims. I've told you my high regard for their medical hospitals. But when it comes to claims, it doesn't matter. You're nobody. And I think I've proven that. I hope you understand by this point that VBA looks at BVA, the Board of Veterans Appeals, and laughs at them. What are you going to do about it, BVA? You can't do anything. You can't fire us. You can't hold us in contempt. You can't tell the IG to investigate us. You can't do anything. You can remand till you are blue in the face, and we can play games too. So, if BVA issues a judgment, VBA can do whatever they want to the vet, but also to show their gross, continuous disrespect for Board of Veterans Appeals. Now, why is that allowed to happen? Because Congress lets it happen. And that's why all of this nonsense in 24 and 25 should have been handled by Social Security, where ultimately you go to an administrative law judge Oh, and if the administrative law judge gives an order, it is very different from a BVA order. Oh, it is very different. Because the next step up from that is a council of administrative law judges and then into a U.S. District Court. And do you know what a U.S. District Court would do to people like VBA violating orders from administrative law judges? They would crush them. A federal judge would crush them. I'll remind you of this last thing in this lesson. Let me take a break. I'm back. So, Congress said to the VA and to VBA, you can do whatever you want because the vet can't go into a U.S. District Court against you and get orders and discovery. Most the vet can do is go to BVA, which VBA can ignore. And BVA can remand until they're blue in the face, and VBA can just refuse to do it. And then what's the vet going to do? Go up to the Honorable CAVC, the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, and do what? I had to go to the Honorable CAVC to force VBA to act on remands from a BVA judgment because I had to go to this federal court because the Secretary of the VA would not enforce a BVA judgment. BVA judgments are expedited when they are remands back to Victor Bravo Alpha. I told everybody, I made noise all over the place. I explained to them what I was going to do. I explained how I was going to do it, the timetable. I gave them more time when they said, oh, we need more time. And then what did I find out? They had deleted files. What else did I find out? They had no intention of working on it. How did I find that out? I went to the Honorable CAVC. It got to the point where I was asking for contempt against the Secretary. And all of a sudden, Victor Bravo Alpha started doing what BVA had told them to do a year and a half before, and I was expedited. That means I go to the front of the line. So, Victor Bravo Alpha is a cauldron of anarchy. Everybody knows they can do whatever they want. There it is. Get a lawyer. I am not your lawyer. I am not giving you legal advice. I am showing you things that should cause you to think and rethink what you are doing. This series of lectures has been aimed at people thinking of joining the military, people who are in the military, have been exposed to different injuries, including environmental poisons, and are thinking of filing a claim with the VA. People who have been separated and who have service-connected injuries that have gotten worse, such as mine, that have caused secondaries, such as mine. Now you know, by this lesson 25, that VBA, BVA, the CAVC, Congress can get rid of all of it, push it over to Social Security, and I'll tell you the reason, another reason I say it. There are many more voters who look at Social Security issues than veterans. Got that? And that's why at Social Security, you can end up in a federal district court. And that's why, as a veteran, oh, no, claim, BVA remand, BVA remand. And then if you want to go up to the Court of Appeals for Veterans Claims, good luck. Okay, that's 25. I may continue doing a few of these. This is a great one. Okay? And I may help you with something. I'll leave you with this teaser. The criteria for an initial rating of 20% for chronic pain syndrome due to intercostal nerve damage left have been met. Do you know why a BVA case had to do this? And refer to the statute and to 38 CFR, the Code of Federal Regulations. I'm going to go into this next time. And it is unbelievable. What the BVA basically did was said that if we send this back to VBA, they're not going to do anything. This poor veteran here has already carried the day, and the VBA can't be trusted. Get a lawyer.